So let's talk about we talked about some of the laws we talked about. One, that they actually put into play with the gaming mods. We talked about one, the addiction law that they have thought about putting into an amendment within the law, but they have not actually done anything yet with that. The government actually attached they're kind of trying to push the addiction law with bullying for whatever reason. But back, like you had said, Clay, about data and research, there's nothing attached to bullying within the video game. Like actual
it's
bullying
a
outside,
toxic environment.
not within the community. So in the community itself, they say, yes, of course, gamers, will write up blah, blah, blah across from a keyboard. But in, real life IRL, there's not so much, they're not attaching gamers to bullying actually out in the world itself. So there's nothing, correlating those two, but they're trying to use that as a way to push that addiction law by trying to use bullying there.
Sidebar for a second. Similar vein.
Yep.
I was playing Dark Souls the other night, and some guy invaded me, and we went at it for quite a bit, back and forth, back and forth. We did the dance, as they say, as the kids say. I drank a ton of Estus, which is your health, and I ended up killing this dude. He ended up messaging me, "Nice try, noob. You just spammed R1, R1 the whole time. GG."
It seems I still beat you.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, well, you lost. So if I'm so bad, how does that feel to lose to someone? He's like, oh, well, I didn't lose. It wasn't a lose-win situation. And then I got really confused. Like, is this the same? I'm almost positive.
It's kind of like playing Mortal Kombat, and they use that leg sweep move. Like, they keep kicking you underneath, like, the entire time. All you do is jump around and kicking. Remember that one?
Yeah.
All you do is jump around and kicking. Well, I still beat you.
Yeah.
Come up with a different way to kill me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, so it sounded like he was just a sore loser. So I got at him, and I started to, like, bring his attitude back at him, just being like, oh, I'm sorry. You're so sad. Like, blah, blah, blah. So I wonder if someone like him is a bully in real life. Because, like, I am not, and I don't do those things. Now, I know Ian isn't, or at least from the Ian I know isn't, but he also can get on people. He's not, right? So do you now they're talking about in Korea,
there's a difference though behind it. So there's a difference between doing it behind a keyboard than doing it in real life.
One's being a coward and the other one is just being a dick.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So it's just being a dick. You know what I mean? Like, I think behind the keyboard, everybody feels safe. Obviously, they're like, I can say whatever the hell I want to say, and I don't have to worry about this guy actually showing up at my door and doing something about it. Because if it was the case, they'd be like, I probably wouldn't have said anything.
Unless you get that one crazy IT guy who can figure out your IP address and know where you're at, and then just go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's where the Korean government's trying to get some type of like understanding of that bullying thing attached to it, but I don't think that's real. So check this out. All right, they actually have and we were talking about laws that they were thinking about passing. Here's another one that they're thinking about passing before I go on to one that's already been passed.
Okay.
All right, they're thinking about a law called the cool down law, and I'm not too opposed to this one actually. I think it's a pretty good law. What they're thinking about doing is after 2 hours of gaming, the game will shut down, and you'll have to go into cooldown stage of resting for 10 minutes. Now, that's not extreme by any means, but what they're trying to do is trying to eliminate that, deep vein thrombosis, exhaustion, get you up, do something else, get away from the computer. 10 minutes. It's all it does. But after 2 hours of playing, it shuts down. So they say after that 10 minutes, there hasn't been any word yet on how long it will be. Like another 2 hours for another 10 minutes. Is it whatever it be? They're saying right now they're thinking that's only within a 24-hour period they would do that.
But
what do you guys think?
You need I think that they're going to need developers to implement this into their games. And I don't think they're going to do this for one country necessarily. I mean, is Blizzard really going to go into StarCraft 2 and implement that? How are you going to enforce that?
So do they have to? I don't know how they would enforce it. I mean, could they not somehow figure out a way outside of the gaming, the gaming development stage? Right? Like
Touché.
some type of mod of something or some I don't know, something that could shut the game down after a certain amount of time.
They would have to it's all. I mean, they would either have to convince hardware manufacturers of the computer to do it, or to like, and then how do you know? How does it know when a game's being played? Like,
Yeah, and not only that, like that'd be super tilting when you're trying to play League of Legends. You're
You-
finding a team and someone dodges, and you're like, "Oh my god, I just wasted 10 minutes!" Like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
this
Yeah.
seems insane, and none of it is gonna get through.
So that's a possible one that they're thinking of right now. They're thinking about setting that one up. That one's
Yeah,
still in the
good luck.
works of like that's in the works. Obviously, like I said, that's not one that's currently passed, but they're thinking about like what they could obviously get that one passed. Here's one that actually is a law right now. Okay, this one is called the shutdown law.
Oh man,
All right,
they got
it
some
was
good names
it was
for these.
it's created back in I can't remember. I think it was 2011. I think is when they passed this.
2012.
Don't quote me. Is it 2012? Okay.
Yeah.
Under the age of 16, you can't play games between the time of 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. to 6 a.m.
A
So-
curfew on games?
A curfew on games for everybody underneath 16 years old. So if you have any
Okay.
type of login information, it just won't let you log in between that time.
'Cause you put
So
Now,
what if I'm American and I live in South Korea? I can't do that.
I guess not.
if you're under 16, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that would apply to you.
I don't see
you know?
I kind of don't see what's wrong with that, but at the same time, like I know
I
I,
don't-
was playing games for a pretty long time when I was around 15, 14. Like they kind of upset
Were
me.
you playing them at that late,
3
and stuff
o'clock.
like
Dude,
that?
we were
Okay.
playing them late, man. Rock,
3
you remember
o'clock.
I know I
the
was
LAN
too.
parties? I used to went to LAN centers and we'd stay up
I
all
know.
night.
Yeah.
I would know.
Red Bull.
I mean,
Oh my God, GoldenEye!
I don't know if this
Think
is-
about all the times you had sleepovers.
Oh,
and played
yeah,
GoldenEye till
GoldenEye.
the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, Rock,
Okay,
I got
so
a
hold on a
picture
second.
of us on the
So-
ground
so-
playing that.
So okay, you're talking about GoldenEye. You're talking about that's fine. Consoles are not the same. This is not applied to consoles. This is not also
What?
applied to
Throwing in-
mobile games either. So console, mobile games not affected.
Why just
talking about
computers?
just-
Yeah,
Just computer games.
That seems
I don't
so
know.
weird.
So
Maybe
computer
maybe
games are the
like,
ones
they
that are
think, like,
affected.
maybe
Uh,
they think that like no, because they can still use the internet, right?
It
They just
doesn't. It
can't.
doesn't really make sense why they
Just
would.
games.
Yeah. And
So
they-
online, I mean, I don't know if they didn't say just online. They just said just not console and not mobile, no mobile. So I think maybe it's just any PC game then at that point. But 16 and under, you can't play any video games from 12 to 6 in the morning. So it's a shutdown
Also-
law that actually
also-
is in effect as of
Do
right now.
they shut it down, or is it like one of those things like it's like a
You just won't
like-
be able to log in. So any type of
Oh,
login
okay.
information that you can put in, you would not be able to log in. So that's where I was thinking maybe there's something that they could do there, Clay, without having to
Yeah.
rechange everything. It's like you just say you're that age, that whatever.
So
they can
they
put a
would definitely
2-hour
create jobs, 'cause
shutdown
then
off of you and
have
kick you
people
out of the
like
account.
watching you.
So China,
Like-
so if it's similar to China in the sense that China, pretty much everything has to go through the federal government. If everything that goes to the federal government in terms of like their Steam client or whatever, then yeah, I can see that they will enforce people putting their name
Even a
and stuff
2 hour.
like that.
That was
even
another
a
thing too.
cooldown,
Like,
right?
why does China not allow you to use YouTube? I don't understand that.
Because China wants to control the media that you consume. It's very much it's not a dictatorship because it's actually a democracy, but it's borderline communism. It's a weird.
It is communism, isn't it?
No, it actually is a democracy.
Thought it
now.
was.
Technically, it's a democracy, but
Yeah,
Now I'm not gonna say that I'm an expert in what.
I'm not either. I could be
government is.
completely wrong, but from my understanding, is it was a communist country, but eventually
Yeah.
it became more democratic, quote unquote. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is communist.
It's just communist. Yeah.
No, you're right.
Straight
It was-
communist. They control everything. They control what pretty much
it was
everything.
a democracy before World War II, and then after World War II became, which I thought was fascinating. I think that's how I remember it. But anyway, point is they control everything, and it's not good. But what they control allows them to manipulate, and because they can control that, they have a ton of laws as well. Like, let's see, every game's
but-
patch updates
so
I
that's-
think have to get. Or no, every game launches has to go through the federal government first in order to be okayed or something like that, or even patches. They have some like really
Even
crazy
patches too as well.
Yeah.
Possible patches.
yeah, stuff like that. It's really wild what they're
See,
doing.
that's where I was thinking that there is possibilities for them to be able to get bypassed through the hardware, through the gaming developers, and still be able to control a shutdown
doesn't-
after 2
China
hours.
doesn't
right?
have an Xbox. They don't have a YouTube. They don't have a Facebook. They don't have a PlayStation. They have their own consoles. then those things are not allowed in there.
Oh, it's Japan. I was gonna say, don't.
Yeah,
No,
no.
I was
PS4 made in China.
I was meaning South Korea. So South Korea for that that cool down, right? That cool down law that we were saying. I don't even think it's possible.
It's pretty.
Like I think it might be possible. Like, what if they have a like national login that you have to do to play any video game,
Yeah, that's true.
right? And it says, your timer says that you've been playing.
If it's computer, yeah, maybe. Because if you have to go through a certain server to hook up,
and maybe that's why console and mobile bypass
that's
it
insane.
because
so where I draw the line is I think it is okay that the government says, hey, supersized French fries and supersized drinks are not good, and no one needs it because you can get a smaller version. If you really want that much, you're gonna have to pay twice. You can still get it. We're just making it harder for you and less easy for people to shoot their own foot. However, you don't see the government coming in and saying you are not allowed to drink soda at all ever. Like. This is the equivalent of them right now. Saying
they're trying to create a healthier, cleaner, purer. They said,
but that's too much control. That's too much control from the government. This needs to rely on the parents. Yeah, and the parents need to be the people to say, okay, you're done.
I'm glad you said that because of the fact that that was exactly what a lot of these articles. Doesn't matter what law we're talking about. They pretty much go back to the point at the end of the day that says. The parents are going to have the largest effect over any of this to be able to make some changes. So yes, we want to have, not people, we don't want our community or our entire country being so addicted to video games, having all these issues, this and that. Really, at the end of the day, it's the parents that we're going to have to get to do, spend more time with your kids is what they were saying. Spending more time with your kids can lead to getting them away from playing so many video games or being so addicted to that video game and feeling like it's the only outlet of stress reliever that they can find.
Yeah.
So. I mean, and I agree with that.
Rocco, do you want to give any final thoughts before we sign off here?
I guess my final thoughts are, I understand that, with South Korea, that the reason why they're passing these laws right now and gaming it seems so extreme for us is because it's such a large part of their community right now. It's such a large part of their economy. And my wife had sat there and she asked me, what do you think? Do you think that America would end up doing stuff like that eventually down the road? And I said, no, I don't think they would because, we have so many people and our economy isn't so driven on the gaming industry as South Korea is. And if it was, then I think that we probably would.
No, I don't think we would. I think there's a strong anti-government control situation. I think liberals as well as conservatives would push heavily back
except for the Patriot Act and things like, we got things that can extreme control, laws that have been put into place. The Patriot Act, for example, that can put you in a jail without any court or anything whatsoever that was passed. It just depends on how
you're a terrorist and you're gone.
People are at the time. You know what I mean?
Seriously, but I know,
and I know that's extreme, but I'm saying that these are
that is
too.
National security. No one in South Korea is saying if you play games you're a terrorist. People are saying if you play video games you're going to have health problems. Like we are not approaching healthcare in the same way we approach national security. So
no,
I feel like that's a bit of China.
Or laws like Obamacare where you're forced to have to go get purchase healthcare without having or get fined for it, right? Like they can push you in a direction. I think that would be a possibility if 14% of our economy was driven off a gaming industry.
No.
I think there would start to be laws probably forming around that at that point.
Okay, yeah, all right.
You know what I mean? Like if it was so large, there would definitely be some laws being inputted, but it's not that case. And right now, like South Korea, it is though. Which is why there's starting to come laws coming around, I think, is because it's such a large part of their economy and their culture, and for us, it's not. And I think that if it was one of the top three things, then I think you probably would see a lot of stuff changing than what we are experiencing right now.
Well, look, you sexy beasts out here, listen to Everything and Nothing show. If you want to continue the conversation, if you agree with Rocco, if you agree with me, hell, if you agree with Steve, or disagree with all of us,
I have a lot to say.
Sign off in the comments below. And don't forget to support us by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing all of our stuff on youtube.com/Maelstrom Gamers channel, as well as our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat stuff. Be a sexy beast. Be a part of the Maelstrom Gamers. We really appreciate you guys listening. As always, you can go on to patreon.com/maelstromgamers. Throw us a couple bucks for your support, or maybe just $1, 100 cents. It's really not a lot if you think about it. And you'll get your topic on the show. We want to hear from you. We want to hear more about you, and we want to play with you. So don't play by yourself or feeling lonely. Come join us. We're playing League of Legends. We're playing some. Gosh, I don't even know anymore. I'm playing Dark Souls like crazy, but maybe you guys are playing other stuff. Paladins was hot for a minute. We're gonna be streaming that.
So
a
my
bit later.
PlayStation 4 is busted. I gotta go turn it in and get another one back. But I was been talking to my wife
Damn, that's
about
like
going to get that Xbox S soon. Yeah, I was like, baby, I just gotta go get it. I just gotta
S
go get it.
stands for
We got
suck.
4K. We could use the 4K. We could.
S
Oh, I can
stands for
buy the.
suck.
Oh, Ark Survived is out.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I want
Is
to
it-
buy that Horizons Dawn or whatever.
Yeah, that looks
Gotta
pretty
go
good.
get it. Anyways,
That's our show. Next week we'll have another set of 5 topics for you. As always, in the meantime, keep thinking about everything and keep thinking about nothing. It's been an honor to entertain you. Peace and take care. Chicken grease.
Hey, Clay.
We love you.
I tried.
long-